friends, it's Mrs. Walker. I'm here to read you a book called Pete the Cat and His 4 Groovy Buttons. Do you remember this story? We read this before at school. We're going to count the buttons and see how Pete feels when he loses a button. Is he going to get mad? Or is he going to be all calm about it? Let's see. Pete the Cat and His 4 Groovy Buttons. Art by James Dean. That means he's the illustrator. And the story is written by the author. His name is Eric Litwin. The author is Eric Litwin, and the illustrator is James Dean. And this book is called Pete the Cat and His 4 Groovy Buttons. That's the title of the book. We open it up. Inside, there's a title page. Pete the Cat and His 4 Groovy Buttons. And it says the author and the illustrator's name again. And the next page is the dedication page. This is where the author and the illustrator say who they want to dedicate this book to. That means they want to tell about somebody special in their life that inspired them and helped them to be an author or an illustrator. To Trey and Destiny, always be honest and give more than you take and follow your dreams. That's from James Dean. Maybe those are his kids, Trey and Destiny. And this one says, to Zelda Litwin, my mother, whose creative spirit nurtured my imagination. So Eric, the story's author, is dedicating this book to his mother. Here's the first page. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much that he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. You see Pete, he's got this number 4 by his head. There's a bubble, little dots. That means he's thinking about number 4. Let's count how many buttons are on his shirt together. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 4 buttons. Oh no! Pop! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Let's count together. Can you help me? 1, 2, 3. Right. 3 buttons are left. Because we know that 4 take away 1 is 3. Put up your fingers. 4 take away 1 makes 3. Let's count his buttons now. How many does he have? Let me hear you. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. He's thinking about 3 now, and he says, groovy. Pete's not upset. He said groovy. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Oh no! Pop! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Let's count them. 1, 2. Just 2. There's that number 2. Remember when we did that in school? Well, you wrote a 2 in the sky with our finger? See if you can do that with me. Around the track, around and back. 2, 2, 2. Number 3, take away number 1, makes 2 left. So set with your fingers. 3, take away 1, makes 2. 2 buttons. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. The ice cream man. Pete got some ice cream. I see chocolate and strawberry. That looks so yummy. What's your favorite kind of ice cream? Really? Oh, I like that too. My favorite is mint chocolate chip. Pop. Oh no. Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left on Pete's shirt now? Right. Only 1. 2 buttons. Take away 1 button. It's 1 button. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My button, my 1 groovy button. My button, my 1 groovy button. Pete decided to go surfing. But, oh no! Pop! Another button came off. The last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left now? Look at his jacket. Can you see how many buttons are left on his jacket? Right. None. That number is 0. 1 button, take away 1, means nothing. 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Pete says, buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt. And what do you think he saw? What did he see on his shirt? What's your guess? Maybe you remember. Yes, his belly button. He kept on singing his song. His belly button. It's all good. My button, still have my belly button. My button, I still have my belly button. Pete's so groovy. He just goes with the flow. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But we don't cry. Goodness, no. We keep on singing. Buttons come and buttons go. How many buttons did Pete have at the beginning? 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 4 buttons and they all fell off his shirt. But did he cry? Right. Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. I'm all done with my story today. Thanks for listening. I'll read you another one soon. Be good, have fun with your mom and dad or your grandma, and wash your hands lots. And hopefully I'll see you back at school real soon.